37 children breathe new life into Lake of the Clouds. 0. The Trek. Military veterans will instantly smile at this most entertaining of all acronyms. For those who haven't heard it before, prio planning prevents piss-poor performance. Yesterday evening, we received an updated weather forecast warning that thunderstorms might sweep through our campsite by morning. Armed with this intelligence, I methodically packed everything into my backpack before drifting off to sleep, confident that I could dismantle camp rapidly and escape to the nearby hut before getting drenched in a downpour. Like clockwork, at 4:15 a.m., the thunder and lightning made their dramatic entrance. Thankfully, Chestnut heard it while I was completely unconscious, and I awakened to the sounds of him hastily packing in his tent adjacent to mine on the platform. Thanks to PPPPPP, I could immediately compress my quilt into my pack, deflate and store my air mattress, slip on my footwear, exit the tent, collapse it, and stuff it at the top of my backpack. Total elapsed time, 5 minutes and 30 seconds from eyes open to walking toward shelter. I must admit, I impressed even myself. Safely sheltered inside, we watched as the storm unleashed its fury. Since our next trail section traverses above the tree line, we anxiously awaited the updated forecasts from Mount Washington that are delivered to all huts and campsites throughout the Whites at 7 a.m. The first of 2 complimentary overnight stays, generously gifted by a fellow hiker who abandoned the trail several days ago, depends entirely on not getting struck by a massive electrical discharge while trekking toward Lake of the Clouds. Weather developments. By 7 a.m. the tempest had moved on, so we strolled back to our campsite to hear the forecast. Fortunately, we received excellent news. The weather front was clearing through the morning, with pleasant conditions expected for the afternoon. Celebrating this positive update, we decided to surprise Sophia with freshly made pancakes. We quietly sneaked into the caretaker's cooking area and prepared the meal. Sophia was genuinely astonished by our thoughtful gesture, and we spent the remainder of the morning lounging around the hut after breakfast, waiting for skies to clear. The hut crew then treated us to some leftover cake. As regular readers might notice, I'm now carrying approximately 6 days' worth of provisions in my pack, yet continue to consume almost none of my own supplies. This peculiar situation has never occurred during my hiking adventures elsewhere in the world. It's causing me equal measures of worry and amusement. The journey continues. After nearly 48 hours of exceptional rest at both the hut and campsite, it was finally time to resume our trek. The ascent from camp proved relatively straightforward, and panoramic vistas gradually unfolded as we gained elevation along the ridgeline. Reasonably clear conditions prevailed throughout the afternoon, and after just a few brief hours of hiking, Lake of the Clouds came into view. I entered the hut and claimed the first of 2 complimentary overnight accommodations that had been generously bestowed upon me by a kind-hearted fellow hiker who departed from the trail several days earlier. Lake of the Clouds experience. This particular hut is undoubtedly the busiest and most frequented in the entire White Mountains. Stepping inside felt like entering a chaotic carnival. The cacophony of human voices was overwhelming. A full house of humanity after spending an entire month, rarely encountering more than a handful of people in any single location. I relaxed in my assigned bunk throughout the remainder of the afternoon, composing blog entries and immersing myself in a novel. At 6 p.m., the crew announced dinner service, and they certainly didn't need to call for me twice. The 4-course dinner was nothing short of magnificent. I engaged in conversation with my table mates and discovered I was the only through hiker among numerous overnight adventurers. This prompted countless questions about my apparent insanity and motivations for spending months at a time immersed in wilderness. The tremendous advantage of being the sole through hiker at my table was everyone's determination to ensure I was properly nourished. Looking like a walking zombie definitely has its perks. I consumed such an enormous quantity of food that I feared spontaneous combustion. Chestnut had successfully secured work for stay, WFS, at the hut. Lake of the Clouds is unique in accommodating 4 individuals for WFS each night, though tonight only 2 positions were filled. I'm genuinely puzzled why more through hikers aren't taking advantage of the complimentary dinner and sleeping quarters, especially at this strategic location, 3/4 of the way up Mount Washington. I can only surmise it's a combination of limited awareness about the program and the general tendency of most through hikers I've encountered to maximize daily hiking distance rather than planning strategic hut stays. All too quickly, the feast concluded. I waddled off to bed with an extremely satisfied stomach. I wonder if I'll actually consume any of my own packed provisions tomorrow. But here's where it gets interesting. Why are so many hikers passing up these incredible opportunities? Is the traditional through hiker mentality of maximizing miles actually causing them to miss out on some of the trail's best experiences? And what about you? Would you prioritize daily mileage or take advantage of these unique accommodations along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Affiliate disclosure. This website contains affiliate links, which means the Trek may receive a percentage of any product or service you purchase using the links in the articles or advertisements. The buyer pays the same price as they would otherwise, and your purchase helps to support the Trek's ongoing goal to serve you quality backpacking advice and information. Thanks for your support. To learn more, please visit the About This Site page.